let me tell you. I see you girls checking out the trunk. I see you girls checking out the front of my truck. I see you girls looking at my junk, then checking out my rump, then back to my sugar lumps. Wanna shake it all up. You probably think that my pants have the mom. It's just my sugar lump, bump, bump. They look so good, that's why I keep them in the front.
What is up, everybody? This is, of course, That Gamer Podcast, reporting live once again, day 3 at PAX East in Boston, Massachusetts. Ben, where?
From
United States of America.
Yeah, you always confuse me with that one. I always think you're going to throw a loop in there on me, but you're just an idiot.
And today, thank you very much, Ben. We got, oh my gosh, we got a failed show tonight. We don't have a failed show yet.
Not failed yet.
We could very well have a failed show by the end of the show because, honestly, we haven't had more than 3 people on this show at any given time. So, going around the room, me, this is Brandon, gamertag is Rowd, PlayStation, Steam ID. This is that Brandon guy.
This has been the Great Dennis, you name it.
John from That Gamer Hub as of last night, the second podcast. Yeah.
Beautiful. We also got Kyle.
All my gamer tags are pretty much OMG, it's a kitty from Critical Strike.
As well as
Josh. Everything is Nacero, even Twitter.
And
Rachel from PixelatedGeek.com. I don't normally give away my gamer tags, so I'm not going to do that.
fantastic.
She is shutting it down up in here.
Come on, give it out. It's in the public domain.
No, listen, don't pressure her.
I mean, y'all seen that website, right? Where it's like the fat, ugly, or slutty.com? Yeah, I get that too. I don't give it away.
Listen, I will defend your honor because you destroyed me when we played together, so... You know, whatever.
All right, so guys, this is PAX East, right? It's correct.
It used to be.
We're all at the correct place.
I think so.
I hope so.
All right, so oh geez, I don't even know where to start, guys. Do we all? Okay, we're all media, correct?
Yeah.
Did we all get to the show floor at 9:00 this morning?
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, neither did we technically. We got there a half hour late, but
It was like 17 minutes late.
I got there an hour early. Y'all
Listen.
fail as media. Come on, guys.
Well, we didn't fail as
we
media.
were really tired.
How many games did you play during media hour?
I played Duke Nukem. And
Okay.
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 We'll
So
start there. We'll start there.
I played 4. So
Okay,
been
Ben,
roasted.
Rachel,
Okay.
let's go. Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
It's the first on our list. So, what are your impressions?
Duke Nukem, well, my first impression was that I was the only girl in the line, besides for the fabulous booth babes that they had, quote-unquote booth babes. I guess that was kind of a controversial thing this weekend at PAX, but yeah, no, first impressions, very exciting. It was, they definitely threw you right into the action as soon as you got into it.
Yeah, urinating.
Yeah,
Wait,
that was some real action right there.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I forgot I had a penis for a little while there.
Yeah, that was intense.
Yeah, no, at the very beginning, not to ruin it for y'all, but yeah, you're urinating into a.
It's called a urinal.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have girls in the room.
Was there a urinal cake in the urinal? I just want to confirm the realism.
You know, no, actually, I didn't know they flushed until this game. I really thought they just went down the drain.
Man.
And that was it. That was my first time ever.
Okay.
Well,
That'd be
this
gross.
game is both realistic and educational, so
Yeah.
I think that those are some points in its favor.
A question for you: did you ever play the? Have you ever played Duke Nukem before?
I haven't.
I'm assuming
I haven't.
you. Oh, you haven't.
No, this is my first time ever playing Duke Nukem.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Okay, well at least you tried it. That's all I can say.
See, I was a kid growing up. I was playing Pokemon and RuneScape.
Yeah.
Not hardcore shooter games.
So, what is the shock factor like? Never having played a Duke Nukem game, of course.
Shock factor. I was definitely laughing in the beginning. They made me draw on a whiteboard, and the guy was like, "I have no idea what you drew, but it is fantastic." But no, yeah, it's well, the very beginning was you kind of got thrown into kind of like a little boss battle, I guess, from the get-go. I was a little bit confused. I was kind of running around in circles. I was like, I'm out of ammo. I don't know what to do. And finally I figured out there's a little red light showing me where there's more ammo. And then I just felt dumb. But no, the first big boss battle, obviously they're not going to really let you die during it, so I wasn't that stressed out during it. Afterwards, though, you immediately get to drive, and you go over a cliff, and you do all sorts of fun stuff. It was honestly relatively typical shooter game, except it was a lot more hardcore, I guess. It was a lot more like being badass shooter. And then as soon as you got out through that first section, there's 2 girls giving me head, which was fantastic. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but
Go for it.
But
It could be a first on the show.
but
It actually definitely is the first one. So.
But yeah, so there's definitely the it's definitely a guy's game. I will admit it is.
It's very irreverent.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's very well shown by the fact that there are there are very scantily clad women all around the booth, which was a very cool booth setup, but that's Duke Nukem. It's always been very irreverent and always been very, in one of the first games, he was defending the world from aliens who were trying to come and take their women. And, not the first game, that was many games, but I agree with you. They threw you right into the action, but as far as shooters go, it's nothing original. As far as games go, I'm good.
I'll say okay, so you're clearly an established veteran with the Duke Nukem series. So
Duke Nukem, I've been playing it since day one.
Going from a beginner over to an expert, I would call it. What do you think?
I don't think you need to put your microphone on my face. I have one there myself.
He's trying to interview.
I know.
He's trying to interview.
It's
we tried this the other night, and he got pissed off then too.
I just don't like being insulted like that. I can't hold my own microphone. Okay, so like Rachel said, they do throw you right into it, and of course it's the very typical irreverent style of Duke Nukem, and some people love that, and some people hate it. So it all depends on what you're all about. But I don't know if they'll have it in this game, but in the old games they had like a violence filter. I just remembered that you could like turn off blood.
No, they didn't in the previous ones.
Well, they could do that with most games now.
In Duke Nukem 3D, they did
different colors.
You could turn off blood and all the naked girls in it.
I don't remember that.
Colors, like, you
Yeah,
have, like,
on
pink
PC,
blood.
I promise.
Yeah, you could have usually you go from like red blood to like green.
Because when I was
blue.
like in 5th grade, I was allowed to play Duke Nukem, but I had to turn on the filter. So I promise you, it was there. Anyway,
I don't remember it at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played that game a lot too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, so going from the old Duke Nukems, it feels kind of the same. You still feel like you're Duke, obviously. But a lot of things that are different are the pig cops. Remember the pig cops?
Yep.
They're now just pigs, and they're not cops anymore. So, but they're all running around, and you gotta kill them. And the guns still feel the same. The rail guns and everything else. It's all just kind of if you remember Duke Nukem 3D and you love it, you're gonna like this game. If you hate it, then don't even bother. But a game that's been in development for 12 years and which is mentioned within the game and multiple times throughout you standing in line there, it's just something that if it's nostalgia is what's going to do it for you. You're not going to buy it because it's a great shooting game.
Well, I think the good thing is that it has a sense of humor about itself.
Absolutely.
It does point out the fact that it's been in development for, in game years, eternity.
Right.
That
Agreed.
was 12 years ago, I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just that should point out as to why I've never
You're
played
20 years old?
I am 20 years.
God damn it.
Wow, that was good math. Quick there.
I know. Despite all the alcohol, I can still add numbers.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh.
But yeah, that was my first pick for a media hour as well.
And are you glad?
I'm glad, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do while I was here. That was my goal. I wanted to play Duke.
I want to play it too, but I have not had a chance to get over to it yet. I've seen it.
There are such long lines for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I've seen people play it,
Yeah.
and actually one thing that you guys mentioned the booth babes earlier. Did you hear that they made them put on more clothing?
Yeah, I did, but today they were fine.
Yeah.
they didn't
Yeah, I was
do
gonna
anything.
say
I was about to-
it
I
wasn't
don't-
changed.
They
I
were
seen
fine
any
as in they were
strong
scantily clad, or they were fine as in they were fully clothed?
No, they were fine as in the people didn't make them do anything differently.
Okay.
They were like they just
so they were
let them
still
go.
scantily clad.
They were still scantily clad.
Okay.
Yeah, it was weird because I was following their Twitter, official PAX's Twitter, and they were saying that that there was an issue, but then they came back and said we allow booth babes as long as it has something to do with the game,
Right.
not just they're naked.
Yeah, they could just point out that, she's stripper A and that lady's stripper B.
Yeah, I guess.
Who had an issue with that exactly? Was that PAX itself, or was that somebody?
Probably
who...
the 50 people who brought their 5-year-old kids to the show.
I would say either it's supposed to be a family kind of show. It's supposed to be meant for families to come to that, or other developers and other people who were there with their games that were told you can't bring booth babes. and then Duke Nukem had them. So I mean, it's probably one of the two, or both. But
Yeah, PAX has barred booth babes. Although I did notice that, I guess the Turtle Beach, I don't know if y'all walked past that outlet too. I would consider those booth babes personally.
agreed. And the hammer glasses, I would consider the one girl they had there anyway, representing them a quote booth babe.
The one in the camo.
Yeah, she was wearing less clothing
Yeah.
than the girls at Duke Nukem were.
Yeah, yeah.
God damn! I wish. Apparently, I'm not going to the same convention you guys are going to.
Listen, it wasn't all roses. All right.
All right, so you guys are glad it still exists. It's coming out, and you're glad you got to play it.
I'm actually thrilled.
You could be the last people on Earth to play this game.
Hopefully not.
It would be ridiculous. All right, anyone else? Duke, let's get it out of the room now. Anyone else going around the room? Perfect. Next up, Gears of War 3. I know me and John played it. Anyone else?
I
in the
did.
room?
No.
I honestly don't have any interest in the Gears of War series. I played the first one sort of, and then I don't know, what is it? John DiMaggio, the guy Phoenix, the guy who plays Phoenix. He's Bender in my mind, and he's gonna always be Bender. I just can't get behind the gameplay. I don't like the game itself. I hate the people who play it. No offense if you guys love the game.
Wow, Kyle, that is kind
Yeah,
of
really.
It's a blanket term. I hate all you people who like Gears of War. But you guys aren't that bad.
All right, I guess I'm going to say I was a fan. I'm a fan of the
Then
first
I hate
two.
you.
John, what do you think of the series? I know you're not a big fan of Call of Duty.
Bro, I'm not a huge...
You're a big fan of Halo.
Okay,
and
I
that
already
kind of
love you
stuff,
already because you don't like Call of Duty.
Yeah. I'm not a huge Call of Duty guy. Nothing against it personally. It's just not for me. But I do like the Gears of War series. I did like the Gears of War 3 beta. It did seem a lot, like Gears of War 2. I didn't. I tried a couple of new weapons and a couple of new features, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It does look a little bit better, and it does seem pretty fluid, and it does, move. It seems to move a little bit faster than Gears of War 1 and 2 did. I remember Gears of War 2, you just kind of get to cover, and then bad guys came at you, and you just popped up and shot them the whole time.
As in most first-person shooters.
Right. So
That's
now
my
in
favorite.
this one, it requires
Third-person shooter. Sorry.
it requires you to flank your enemies more. Like this, the way the levels, at least the 4 multiplayer maps that were, I guess you could vote on or whatever.
I guess there were 4, weren't there?
Yeah.
I'd only seen 1 because
I played 2, and and there's nice little back alleys and stuff like that to go down. So it was pretty neat. It was
So they weren't showing off a whole lot. They were, I guess, showing off 4 multiplayer maps. Only 2 weapons that I saw that were new: the double-barreled shotgun and
the Retro Lancer.
the Lancer Light. I can't remember. Yeah, let's go with that. Any of those stick out to you? Like they needed to be added into the game?
I did like the quad barrel shotgun or whatever.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's a 4-barrel shotgun or whatever it is.
That's obscene.
It's amazing. Yeah. No, so I was at close range once, and a guy was like from me to you, and I popped up and shot him, and he was down.
Well, with 4 barrels, you would expect that he'd go down.
Yeah, so it was. I mean, it's the thing about it is it does balance itself out in the sense of that like the little active reload that all Gears of War games have.
Yeah,
Like it took forever to
takes
reload.
forever, yeah.
It takes forever to reload.
and it's very like short distance that you have to be for it to
Yeah.
do anything really.
Yeah, and then I was not a fan of the Retro Lancer though.
Yeah, it was tough to use because you basically go into a roadie run and charge at them, but once you're in the roadie run, you can't really move, so you have to do basically a beeline towards them, and if you skip past them, you just look like a dumbass because you just ran right past them, charging your Lancer, just screaming towards them, trying to... But once you get them, you kind of hook them and pull them up and then shoot them, but that's kind of cool. It's Gears 2, honestly, from what I took away from it, and I'm sure to a lot of people that's a good thing that they didn't change a whole lot. They seem to have definitely bolstered the the ranking system. I don't know if you got into much of the menus, but you can unlock characters and skins for your weapons. There's like a leopard print for your gun or something. I don't know. What was the other thing I told you that you can unlock? And I don't know why I forgot it again.
I don't know. I know I played it and I died a lot. That's about the only thing I took away from it.
executions. Again, you can unlock executions for your different weapons, which sounds kind of cool. But yeah, overall, not a huge change to the Gears franchise.
Are you gonna still buy it?
Interested at all? Yeah.
I know you've been a huge
Yeah,
Gears
I've been a Gears
player
fan,
in the
so-
past, for multiplayer at least, but
And now everyone in the room hates me
I don't
for
hate
it.
Well, not everybody. I think it's just me in particular.
All right. Well,
I mean, it's no offense to you. It's just I don't get it.
it's fine.
the
it's fine,
whole
it's
Gears
fine, it's
series
fine.
just
I'm
seemed-
not gonna defend Gears right now.
Okay.
Don't judge,
I'm not-
Kyle.
I'm not-
Don't judge me or don't judge
any-
Kyle.
You're drunk. You can't judge anybody.
I will vouch for that.
All right. Well, hey, let's move on to what you guys have been playing. Anything today that stuck out? I mean, even in your first day that you guys have played through that you want to talk about?
I basically just walked around a lot. I haven't really played a lot. I just wanted to kind of see everything. I mean, I played Crisis 2 in 3D with NVIDIA 3D Vision.
How was
yeah.
that? I got to watch it, but not actually play it.
Well, you go, Judge.
It's Crisis 2, except it has obviously a lot more depth to it, and your HUD kind of cycles back and forth with you as you're moving. So
Weird.
it's kind of floats there on the bottom of the screen, and it changes angles on you and all this other stuff. So while you're playing it, you kind of have to retrain yourself how to look when you're playing a first-person shooter.
Wow, that must be really strange.
It was really strange, but it had really cool effects to it.
It was also on a Jumbotron.
Yeah, they had, and the guy told me the price of that screen too. He said it was like, some massive number, like $90,000 or something like that.
What?
Yeah, it was insane.
You could buy at least 3 cars for that TV.
I have no idea,
I
but
would much rather have 3 cars than that TV.
well, yeah, okay. I would rather have the TV.
Well, then you get taxes. And insurance.
What-
So maybe the TV would be worth it in the long run.
Yeah. I checked out the 3DS while that was there.
It works.
It works, yeah.
This is a strange sensation, honestly. I think I got a little bit dizzy. There's an angle that I like to hold my DS at that I was trying to hold this at, and it was the perfect angle that you really were seeing 2 totally different pictures. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, God.
Now, what'd you guys play? I know we talked yesterday a little bit about the augmented reality thing.
Yeah, I
where the
saw
dragon
that.
comes out of the car.
I don't remember the name of the game that I played. It was, like you're on a battleship.
Nintendogs.
No, I wish I could play Nintendo. I actually really love Nintendogs.
I've never played it.
I've never played
My Nintendog was named Mega Man, okay? I'm going to admit it right now.
I'm so shocked at that.
If you had a
knowing your
real dog,
history.
would it be called Mega Man?
What's that?
If you had a real dog, would it be called Mega Man?
Oh, most
or do you
definitely.
have one?
No, actually, my real dog was named Boozer.
Oh my gosh.
Boozer?
Yeah,
Was it jealous?
So what, did I just replace your dog?
kind of. If you are my, I can't swear on this show.
Do whatever you want in this show.
You're my bitch. But anyways, no, the 3DS, I love it. It proved me wrong. I didn't think it was gonna work, and you know, as Rachel said, there's some views where it does kind of mess you up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then you just adjust the 3D a little bit, and
Yeah.
it picks it right up to what viewing angle you're looking at it.
So
I'm sold.
are you sold? Are you buying it?
I am buying it.
And
What about the battery though? The battery life on 3D is only 3 to 4 hours, and that's it. I mean, my trip from New York. Well, I finished Pokemon in one day this week. But in any case,
Wow.
I would not be able to do that with a 3DS unless it was plugged into the wall the entire time.
I actually play my portables at home to begin with,
Eh,
so they're not mobile machines for me.
okay.
It doesn't really matter.
Nice.
Well, depends on where you play them.
I mean, for me, that probably wouldn't be
I'm
that.
playing my games
That probably wouldn't be great because I would have a tendency to have it in my pocket, and when I'm sitting in line somewhere, or
Yeah.
sitting in the car, stuck in traffic, or whatever, I might pull it out and play. But not at home. So I mean, that would be a detriment for me to it. But I guess that just kind of depends on what kind of a portable gamer you are. If you're really a portable gamer, if you're a gamer who plays portable games.
It's just another machine for me to play games
Right,
on.
exactly.
Yeah.
So the launch lineup does not deter you at all?
I'm a big Street Fighter fan, so
yeah, you are.
that
So that's all you need.
that's all I need.
That's
I
Hey.
think the biggest thing against it is regular games kind of look like garbage on it.
Hmm.
It's not really a thing to upgrade to when you could just keep your DS Lite or your DS XL, and
Unless you're going for the newer games.
unless you're going for the newer games. But I mean, why make older games you're playing now look like complete trash or play a 3D game? I would much rather play games that have been tried and true.
So even if you turn off the 3D, they still look like trash?
Yeah, it's because the screen size
Okay.
has a different resolution to it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I didn't notice it, but
Yeah.
I didn't play it off.
I
I didn't
didn't
play
either.
with it off too much.
I
So.
didn't either.
I kept turning it on and off, and I talked about this yesterday. The slider doesn't seem to be. It seems like an on and off slider, and not a progressive.
It was. I only noticed a very, very slight progression, but it also could have been the game I was playing.
Yeah, that
Which one
Battleship.
did you play?
The augmented reality one.
Okay.
It was one that comes with it, which was cool. It was actually cool. It was a cool demo, at least.
Did any of you guys play the Legend of Zelda one or the Kid Icarus one?
No.
No.
No, I whenever I got this morning, I played Nintendogs actually. Is what I
Was your
ended up
dog
with.
in 3Ds?
Yeah, it was kind of odd. I gave him a bath in 3D.
Did you name it Mega Man?
I didn't get to name him. It was just a demo, so you got to kind of choose. Like, I couldn't even buy food for my cat. I kind of felt bad. My kid
Wait,
never...
so you played a Nintendogs game and you attempted
Well,
to
yeah,
feed a
I mean,
cat?
well, Nintendo Pets. I don't know what
It's
it was.
called Nintendogs and Cats.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nintendogs and Cats.
Well, that's just lazy. They could.
I know.
Yeah, so
It's the
yeah,
brand, man.
I only had
Nintendogs,
dog
it's
food,
a
so my
brand.
kitten didn't get fed. But yeah, no, I had a. Oh, it was actually really cute. He kind of like came up to the screen. He was like pawing at. It was actually really looking like he was at a window.
Did you
Was
call
the
it
cat
Skittles?
Oh, sorry.
What is-
Did you call it Skittles?
I didn't call it
Do
anything.
you get that?
My
you get
dog's
that
name is
reference?
Boki, so I would have to call it Boki.
Okie.
Boki.
I thought you had a cat though.
I'm no. Well.
What?
Ah.
What I want to know is if Nintendo can capture the insufferable assholeness of a cat in 3D.
I don't know.
Like,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
it just
they
ignores
can.
you?
Yeah, cats are assholes. They are.
I mean,
That'd be
I
an exciting
sprayed like I gave it a bath since I couldn't feed it. I gave it a bath instead, and
That's probably gonna keep it alive.
but if you sprayed it in the face, it would get kind of angry.
Do you just have like a water bottle? That you
Yeah,
just
it's like a little
constantly
like,
spray it in the face.
shower.
Well, it should technically run away from you then.
Well,
I was kind of stuck. I mean, I feel like I probably glued it to the
It's in
floor.
like a
I don't know.
box.
Most things that I spray in the face kind of get pissed off.
No.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
No.
Leave it alone.
No.
Nobody? Come on, I left you guys wide open. But I guess I'm an older type gamer, but I did the Crysis 2 thing in 3D. It just wasn't for me. I mean, it gives it depth, but most of the stuff, it was just like, okay, your health bar now pops out at you, but the rest of the game is still kind of where it was, or, okay, now the directional arrows from where you get hit at are now pop out at you, but there's not anything that's real. There's no depth to it. It's not actual.
I saw the
3D.
depth. I really did see the depth because, like I said, I didn't play, but I did, look at the glasses. I saw the depth. Really, 3D TVs they're so much different than the movies. Movies are projected, and so it's not
Agreed,
really. They can actually bring out
Mhm.
things from the screen, where 3D TVs they can only bring things into the screen, so you get depth rather than projection. So that's kind of the big difference. A lot of people are really disappointed by that whenever they're checking out 3D TVs, expecting these to pop out of them. It doesn't happen. And so I saw the depth, and I mean, it's something to get used to. I had played Killzone 3 in 3D a while back, and I mean that was fascinating to me. A lot of I work at retail, electronics retail, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, where's all the 3D movies? Oh, they don't exist yet, but here's this game," and so it's just kind of like.
Well, I mean, you could just go. You could watch Avatar.
Yeah, there's Avatar, I guess.
Actually, Avatar is only available for Panasonic, and you have to special order it through them.
Really?
Really?
Wow, that's a racket.
Is anyone getting a 3D TV anytime soon?
I am seriously considering it right now.
All right. You
How
seem
long
to
do you think it'll
buy
last?
the latest and greatest.
As I say on the show, I have more money than brains.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
I think if it comes down to something you really want, we all do. We all
Yeah.
have more money than brains,
Did
or we
you-
all have less brains than we do a desire for what we want.
Did you buy the Connect or Move? when it
I
came
have
out?
them. I have Move, not
I have
Connect.
the Connect.
Yeah.
And I really regret buying the Connect.
I don't regret buying the Move.
All right. Has it been getting use? I guess
Yes.
okay. That's all that matters
Very
again.
nice.
So you were sold by Move or motion technology, and now you're being transferred over to 3D technology.
I am a whore.
Well, at least the
There it
Move
is.
still will track things in 3D. I mean, it's nice from what you described it. I mean, the Connect is a kind of a piece of shit.
Well, I can't say I disagree.
He's got it. I don't have it. I can't refute that. So
Well, if you're first party, it works fairly well, but if you get something like, I don't know, Kinect Zumba, it is shovelware. I mean,
Really?
I bought it. My parents were like, oh my god, we could do this, this, and this. I mean, we heard all about it because they did like the multi-million-dollar ad campaign,
Absolutely.
so everybody knew about it.
Yeah.
But
$500 million, actually.
oh, Jesus Christ! But half the stuff is crap.
well, speaking of Kinect, did anybody play anything on the show floor?
I really wanted to play Child of Eden.
So did I, but I didn't get a chance to.
I couldn't get anywhere near it.
I didn't quite understand what was going on. It was just a lot of pretty lights.
Did you try it?
It
I
looked
did not
pretty
try
trippy to me.
Yeah, no, I was just like, I don't think I could play that. I was just.
It's one of those games that everyone speaks highly of.
Is it? I honestly don't know much about it. Is it an arcade game or is it actually like a legit like $60 at release game?
I believe it's going to be a $60 game.
Really?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
AAA, yeah.
Like $60 game.
I know. That's
Well,
what's confusing.
neither was Rez and all those, and it's basically the same thing as Rez in a
Yeah.
way.
Res was $60.
Well, it was like 50 at the time.
Did anyone play Gunstringer?
No.
My other staff member did. He liked it a lot. I mean, for a Kinect game in any case, obviously they don't have, much mainstream, but I guess this is about as, it's not even really still mainstream, but it's about as mainstream as you can really go right now with the Kinect. He said he liked it. It was decent. So,
Yeah.
worth
I
a
mean, we
buy.
played a little bit yesterday. And,
Yeah, we had a bad experience, but it was redeemed.
Where
we
did it touch you?
forgave them
What
tonight.
was your bad experience?
We went over it on the show last night. We were in line for like 45 minutes, and then some other guy came, and the CEO.
I found out today it was from Evil Avatar.
Yes,
some
so
dude from Evil Avatar.
Everybody needs to reject Evil Avatar. Came, and they were like, "Hey," the CEO was like, "Hey, can you you're gonna have to move back because he's in line." And we're like, "No, he's not." So it was just disturbing. But then we got to play after that, so whatever.
Yeah, we got to talk to him
So,
for quite a while. So he's
You
cool guy.
got upset because someone cut in line?
It wasn't because he cut in line. It was because I was standing there ready to play, and he and the CEO, even though I had a press badge on and this guy had a press badge on, apparently his press badge was better than mine. And he was like, "Hey, he's gonna play instead." And I'm like, "Oh,
That's kind of shady,
Okay.
man.
yeah, but it's whatever. It's whatever."
I would have cried.
He knew I was upset, and he asked me about it. So I think that's why he talked to us a good bit.
It was all over you.
Because they kept coming, the people from the staff kept coming and saying, "Hey, can you come over here and do this?" He goes, "No, I'm doing a demo right now." So like he kept telling people no. So that
Yeah.
was cool. He didn't like run off and leave us there after he screwed us, but it was cool.
All right, so moving around the room, Rachel, anything that you have played, either your first or second day that you want to talk about?
Today I played for the first time the Pokemon trading card game online. I don't even know if y'all saw that. The press release, I saw that
I saw
the day I came to PAX.
I saw a poster out in the hall.
Yeah,
What was it?
I really love the trading card game. I'm an all-around Pokemon nerd. I don't have many people to play with. It's basically just me and my boyfriend within probably a 50-mile radius of where I am that plays, actually, the trading card game. And so, in any case, I was really impressed. One of the developers was standing next to me, I was just going through it. I was able to figure it out on my own. I realized, there's a bunch of younger kids that'll probably play it, and so I don't know how they'll do. But in any case, I was pretty impressed. She asked me after I was done. She was like, well, so what improvements? Because we're still, we're closed beta right now. We're just trying to figure out all the bugs and everything like that. I'm like, honestly, it was nothing I couldn't figure out after my first round. Once I got the first round down, I was easy to go, and that's how it is for every single game. It was, you never know what to do until after the first round, really.
Was it the standard format since, I don't know, since I was in 6th grade?
Yeah. There's the new Pokemon rather than the older.
Yeah.
I hate the new Pokemon. Just gonna put that out there.
Oh, yeah. I agree with
Do you even
Actually, I
know
did
any
play
of
with
the
the
new
I'm a
Squirtle.
purist. No, I don't. That's why I hate them because
The
I don't know them.
150. Is,
I'm a
151.
I'm a purist.
that's true.
Yeah.
Is it Mew or Mewtwo?
Mew.
There was Squirtle
Perfect.
and
Okay.
all those. They
Alright.
were still there, but
Do they hold up?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's cool then.
Yeah.
Probably not Squirtle, but everybody else.
Actually, Squirtle did pretty good. I was happy.
Impressed.
I don't know about you guys, but I always picked Bulbasaur just because it was advantage of the
Yeah,
first
man,
two
Bulbasaur.
gyms.
He was, that's my pick.
What?
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur's great.
On the forums, we have a debate on the best Pokemon, and my vote was Bulbasaur, and constant like abuse for people on the forums.
I like
For me
Machamp.
picking Bulbasaur.
I'm gonna put that out there.
I'm a big fan of Luxray. I don't know if y'all remember that was just really one badass electronic Pokemon.
That was-
Electric Pokemon.
Which one was that?
Hang on.
Looked like a magnet.
Well, if I
How
had
many-
my phone near me, I would show you because he's my background on it. But
I
yeah,
thought earlier we discussed that you weren't a nerd.
I'm not.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm such a nerd. No, I have to go with Luxray.
What are we up to now? Does anybody know? Like 700?
Yeah,
God,
it's
it's
an
just
obscene number.
ridiculous.
Pretty much every new generation of games, there's another 150.
Yeah.
So I think they're at like generation 5.
I can't even keep track.
I know I have of the original 151 cards. I have many of them, and they're hidden away in my closet at my parents' house.
Keep them there.
I'm going to. Yeah.
No, I mean, can you mail them to me? I'll totally take them.
They're no.
They're gonna be worth millions. Someday.
I'm gonna buy a
I
house
got
with them someday.
Oh my gosh.
I know that I looked up my holographic cards before, and that they weren't anything like special, but yeah, they were worth like 3 cents a piece.
Beautiful.
If I could find somebody to buy them for that.
Does anybody know that there has been a Pokemon movie every year since it came out?
2002.
Yeah, I mean that's
No,
ridiculous to me.
before that, 2000.
98, 97, somewhere in there.
I could
I
do
have
the
every
math.
single
if-
Pokemon episode of
Well-
movie on my computer.
Game Freak started developing in what, like 1995, and it came to America in 98, 99.
I don't know, man.
Okay.
You're going way too far.
Yeah,
I
I'd
feel
say-
like the old man out here in this one. I don't really.
There's one memory that really stands out with Pokemon. It's when I was going to Washington D.C. in like 7th grade, and the game just came out, and it was magical.
Magic?
It was magic.
That's a really good story.
Just me and the Pokemon. My friend played it. And we went to the Chevy Chase. I don't know. Visitor center, and they had a bookstore there, and the Pokemon
And it changed your life
thing
forever.
was there. The game manual, like the cheap thing. It's like you pay $20 for it.
You are just so happy to
Strategy
tell this
guide.
a relevant story.
It is completely irrelevant.
I went to the store once, and there was the thing there. It was cool.
I don't know. We were the only people who knew about it back then
That's true.
in my small town in Connecticut.
I remember being the first person in my school to know about it. And,
Did you feel
I thought
special?
that was hot shit. Yeah, I felt pretty cool back then.
Brandon, talk about a game that you played, and I don't think anybody else. in the
Why do
room
I got to
did.
talk about this? The Darkness 2. Anyone?
How was it? I didn't get in.
Man. Okay, so The Darkness 2 has been an incredible hit, I guess. I mean, the line for this game has been wrapped around the massive stage, or the massive box, the massive black box, or whatever that it's in. But
The dark box.
Was
the
it you-
dark box?
Was it you or somebody else who told me like it was a 6-hour line at one point?
It wasn't me. I got in this morning with the media, and luckily I waited. I still waited like 25 minutes. Apparently they were not ready for media this morning, so I got in right when the normal people were coming in.
The normies, as we like to call
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
All you common
That's
folk.
high class media in this room right now. But they let us in. They were very secretive about it. People had cameras. They're like, put the cameras away or tuck it in somewhere. We cannot let footage of this game out anywhere. And they're like, we've only shown the world 7 screenshots of this game, so don't let anything get out. But
So you're going to talk about it.
I'm going to talk about. Well, they didn't say not to talk about it. They just said not to take any footage of it, which I didn't do. I didn't play much of the Darkness one. Did anybody play much of the Darkness one?
No.
Not really.
Yeah, and so I played the demo, I think. So I was kind of jumping in
Yeah, me too.
with not too high of expectations, but it's a very gruesome game. It's a very gruesome game. The opening scene, you're walking through a restaurant and you sit down. There's these 2 nice ladies with you, and you make the comment that you didn't recognize them with their clothes on. So that's kind of how this game is set up. And all of a
So
sudden,
there's a reason it was right next to Duke Nukem.
yes, exactly. And all of a sudden, I don't know if this is spoiling anything. It's apparently the beginning of the game, but like a bullet comes through the window and goes right through this lady's face, and it explodes, and the lady beside her starts freaking out, and then a van comes through the window and smashes everything and you're being drug on the ground by your buddy. But it's a ridiculous game, honestly. I've heard it's still in alpha, so I'm guessing that's why they're not letting people take footage of it and that kind of stuff. But I enjoyed it for what it is for this stage in its life. The mechanics work well. You got like 2 little demon things that come out of you when you're in the darkness. When you get out in the light, everything kind of turns gray. You can't use the dark powers, the little, I don't know what they are, like demon heads that come out of your back, and then they can either pick up people and then you can basically dismember them. And they eat hearts. I don't know why they eat hearts, but I guess that's the thing to do if you're a demon.
I just remember they used them a lot for like puzzles in the first one, and a little bit that I played too.
Or you can like pick up spikes and throw them through people. But very gruesome, very bloody game, and that seems to be their thing over the darkness. Anyone have any questions on the darkness?
Is it a shooter?
Yes.
It was like a first person, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure.
I mean it's shooter and demon.
Are you still the same character from the first one? I never played it.
Yeah, it seems like someone has found out about your dark powers and they're trying to get it out of you.
How did you feel about your dark powers, Brandon? Did it make you depressed?
There was really a moment where
Would you like to
felt
talk about
pretty
it?
down about it. But the guy behind me reassured me that everything was cool.
Did he rub your back?
Did he pat you reassuringly and say, "It's okay, baby"?
He did, and then I jumped on his back and rode around for a little bit. No, I mean honestly.
What just happened?
I don't understand.
We're gonna now move into.
I had a good time, guys. I'm sorry. That's why it's.
It is now
it's
the
in a
late hour
closed
with
room.
Brandon. We're gonna have some nice music going on here in a moment.
Some eroticism. It's okay.
Bow,
Just relax. Be cool, and what will happen will happen.
Moving on to John. John, we have not talked to you yet.
No.
What have you played today, John?
So after I played Gears 3 with you, I went and played Bastion.
Yes.
I got to talk with Greg Kasavin. I keep saying, I keep throwing the H in there.
I actually saw him today.
Yeah.
And I thought of you.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I had a good
No
talk
problem.
with him. I had a good talk with him yesterday, and I talked to him again after I played today, and it was really,
Have you guys just made it official and
not
proposed?
yet, no.
Okay.
It's we're trying to keep that there's an embargo on that right now.
Oh, yeah.
No, so it's I won't say bare bones. It's bare bones. It's a Torchlight or a Diablo. It's an action RPG, that genre, but there's no skill tree. There's no mana. There's no spell casting, and you get varying weapons and you get to upgrade them, and I won't ruin it. I think it's a game that should be most definitely checked out if you have the time. And the lines are, it's PAX, so the lines are always long, but it's never devastatingly long. But I don't know, it's just a really fun game, and the art is all the art is hand painted by one lady. So like it's an indie game, so it's just one lady is hand painting all this stuff, and then they scan it and they put it into whatever program.
That sucks to be that one lady.
No, she does a really amazing job too. Like it all looks really, really good, and the story is kind of, you just wake up and the world is kind of gone, and there's kind of floating elements because there's this magic stuff, and it's, you just go around bashing stuff the whole time, and you can fall off the world, and yeah.
But it's basically Torchlight. I mean, I walked up to Ben. He was about to get in line, and I'm like, "Hey, it looks like Torchlight."
Yeah,
and then I walked away.
I mean, it's the story is obviously way different. The one thing that does separate it that is pretty amazing is the narration. It's so, for instance, you can fall off the world at any point in time. You're kind of on a permanent catwalk, and when you fall off, and it's linear in the sense of you'll be all of a sudden the narrator will say, and then 3 bad guys appeared, and 3 bad guys will appear.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then
Weird.
and then if you fall off, and then if you fall off or die, and then you'll say, and then your character died. And it's a guy with a really deep baritone voice doing it. It's just really, really neat. It's really, really cool.
Is the voice soothing? So when you die, it's okay?
No,
It's not like Mass Effect 1 where it goes in like the depressing music, like the dun dun dun.
No,
dun.
it's
like,
never.
Fuck this music.
No,
I'm
there's
tired of it.
There's no elusive man, or there's nothing like that. It's just, it's just you actually meet the narrator. Like, I don't want to ruin it, but you like it not. Oh, I mean, you could physically meet him. The voice actor was there today.
So
But
he's
you
telling a story while you're acting through it, like the first Prince of Persia.
Kind of. It's a bit. I don't know. The best. Like I said, I don't want to ruin it, but it's most definitely a game that needs to be checked out, and I most definitely it's. I won't compare it to Prince of Persia,
Okay.
just based on it's
Well, it's
like
apples
it's just
to
really weird.
oranges.
Like when you pick up a different way, like if you decide to use your bow and arrow instead of your hammer, the narrator will say, and then he switched over to his hammer, like so I don't know. It's just a really cool thing, and it looks impressive.
Okay, so on a soothing baritone scale,
Yeah.
is it Barry White or is it the other black guy? God, what's his name?
Marvin Gaye.
I guess Marvin Gaye, but he's
Come on.
March of the Penguins. What's his face?
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, that's the man. Yeah, he's
You
the
could-
other black guy.
How did you forget Morgan Freeman?
I don't know.
I'm
I've
very
been
disappointed
drinking
in
all
you.
day.
Darth Vader reads the Bible.
Oh, there you go. What's his face?
He
The
does,
other
he does also
James
some
Earl Jones.
appropriate
James Earl
stuff.
Jones, black guy number 2. So apparently only black men have very smooth baritone. That's
It's a
what I've
gift.
gathered.
Yes, they have.
It is a gift.
No comment.
No comment.
It's a video game.
Okay.
What about Magicka? Do you know much about Magicka? Is it
I know
anything
of
like that at
Magicka.
all?
I haven't played Magicka, but I would say it's closer to Magicka than it is to Diablo. Now that you mention that, because it's in Diablo you have a million different things that you can click on. You have and the same in Torchlight. You're clicking and clicking and clicking on a bad guy to kill him. And in this, it's not that. I mean, a bad guy goes down in less than 5 hits.
Yeah.
Depending on if he's a boss or if he's a little guy. So
Plus the over-the-top announcer or the narrator. I guess.
yeah, and he's never, I guess, over the top. He's just persistently there.
Yeah.
So
I can see how that can get annoying, especially for someone to continually switch weapons, at least like me.
yeah, it's
And then he switched to his longsword.
Yeah,
and
it's
then
not-
his bow.
they just-
and
I-
then back to his longsword.
yeah, it's
Very
And then
dramatic.
get to the smooth baritone.
I can see it. It's I don't know. It's not all the time. Like it's just
Oh, every once in a while?
yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how I'm not a programmer to that level, so I have no idea how they do it. But
It just
they do a good
randomly-
job.
Yeah, it's right.
There's no actually reason for it at all. I wanted to talk about Swarm, but we have someone in the chat room who would like to know more about Mortal Kombat,
Ooh.
which I'm guessing is
Ooh,
more
Josh,
of
it's
Rachel's
right up your
back
alley.
here. So
Rachel. played that.
go ahead and let us know, because you've had extensive experience
Yes,
from what I've heard from you. So
I have actually gotten really lucky with Mortal Kombat the past couple of days. They have appointments booked up the line, but I keep on leeching onto people and able to get to the front of the line and getting to play for a little bit. So yesterday I actually got to play with one of the developers for a little bit, and he, showed me some of the combinations because I haven't played Mortal Kombat since Sega. But in any case, I was pretty impressed. It's still the Mortal Kombat style. Like, I guess I know I was playing with one of my staff members today, and he was talking about Street Fighter, and Street Fighter has more of a smooth transition. Like, if you're running at somebody, you do an attack, you don't just stop and do the attack right where you're standing. Whereas Mortal Kombat, you practically have to be, on top of the person to really do the attack. Because I'm so horrible at playing it. And so I would try to do an attack, and I would be still halfway across the room, and I would just stop right there. So they haven't changed that at all. I didn't get to play any of the Challenge Tower, which I would have loved to have played. But yeah, the style of the game, they have definitely gone back to their roots. I would definitely say it is very Sega-esque, obviously with updated graphics. Very, very updated, gruesome graphics. I played Melina. She was fantastic. And very cool, different things. Like, for one, I know today my staff, Rhett, he kicked Melina in the face, and it showed actually an X-ray view of her cracking the skull all the way through, and then it's like cracking my ribs, and it's just showing the actual bones and everything. So that was really cool.
So it, like, there's a quick cut scene of your like ribs cracking like on impact.
Yeah, it was neat.
Wow, those guys are way tougher than I am. I don't know. After a cracked jaw, I just kind of curl up on the ground and start weeping.
Well, they actually do call it like the X-ray attack or something like that.
Yeah.
I was playing the demo not too long ago at our hotel on my PS3, and it's Mortal Kombat. It's basically Mortal Kombat's version of like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix in a way that kind of reinvented brought back the series in a way to today's standards.
And button mashing still does win. I
Yes.
don't know how
Yes.
they have, if they have balanced that out in other fighting games, but today, poor Rhett, he plays fighting games all the time, and I beat him every time with my, I understand how combinations worked, and I think I just got extraordinarily lucky, because I was like, maybe down right, then this button will do something, and it did. So,
I am terrible with fighters. In the chat, Jay Kendrick says we're all awesome, so thank you. And anyone in the chat, feel free, if you are a guest, to sign into the chat room. Shoot us questions. We will divert it to the correct expert in the room right now. BS, thank you. I mean, anyone else? Did you play it 3D?
Oh, sorry?
Did you play it on 3D?
Not
can't
Mortal
remember
Kombat,
if you- okay.
or no.
I think we were talking about something else, and we somehow got over to that. And
I don't think they have it in 3D.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they
I
do.
thought I saw them.
Not
having
there,
it.
at least. I don't.
I think that was Crisis. Well, it was Crisis 2 I was talking about, but
Oh.
No, on the other side, they were
You know what? I
wearing
think
3D
they did,
glasses.
didn't they?
They're wearing.
I didn't see
There were
it.
guys who were wearing 3D glasses playing Mortal Kombat. So,
Nifty.
and they were handing them out to people in line.
it was.
So
I'm
unless-
gonna have to check that out tomorrow. Then.
Yeah,
that's
it's
probably a PS3
they
thing.
have all the stations
Yeah.
like that
It was-
look like
wasn't it-
arcade stations.
Oh yeah. Well, I saw the arcade stations, but it didn't look blurry. to me
Those
at
aren't
all.
3D.
Right,
The one
yeah.
that's 3D is like the big one that's on display for everybody
It's
to watch.
on in front of Fear
nifty.
3. Correct?
Yes,
I'm
it's,
definitely
it's
gonna
right
have to
next
go
to
over
Fear
there
3.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's right.
Check it out.
Good pickup then.
Oh,
Good
I do what I
pickup,
can. I
man.
do
You
what I
get a
can.
gold star for the night, for the morning.
I'll give you Kyle.
Oh man.
Man.
Did they have any more
Wait,
questions
wait,
about
wait,
Mortal
Kyle.
Kombat?
You should be
That's
getting a
pretty much
blessing
it.
here.
Ben, any more Mortal Kombat questions? I know you're.
I don't see anything
Keep
in
up.
here. No,
Okay.
I'm trying to keep track.
All right. Does anyone else have any final thoughts? Anyone else? You said you played it, but
No, not really. It's Mortal Kombat.
It's Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat never really appealed to me. I'm not Asian.
it never appeared to me.
Look up the challenge tower. That is actually what has made this game a lot more appealing. The challenge tower is really fantastic. There are 300 challenges,
Yeah.
300 levels, and the 300 levels includes stuff like, oh hey, your arms just fell off.
Yeah.
Now fight. And so each level has something completely
Just like real life.
serious. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
well, what
Yeah.
it is like, you know, in the old school Mortal Kombat, you had like test your strength, where you have to hit the bricks and stuff like that. So they have like that, and then all the other ones from the previous Mortal Kombat games. And what they did is they made a new one
Good job,
called
man.
Test Your Luck, I think it is.
Yeah, something.
And that's where like you have to do a fight and your arms randomly fall off, or
Yeah.
you get hit in the head with an axe, and now you're
Right.
weakened. That's a really cool system that they brought
Yeah, it
in.
actually does sound really cool.
Yeah.
I just pictured like you start the fight and your arms literally just pop right.
Well, that's
No,
what happens.
That's really what happens. Yeah, that your arms, like, you're standing there normal, you don't know what the challenge is until it starts.
Right.
And then something happens. There's one where I think it's Melina is attempting to give somebody a teddy bear and he refuses, and so she gets really angry, and I think she almost gets extra power in that
Yep.
case or something like that, and it's funny. So, yeah.
Yeah, if I knew anything about Mortal Kombat, I would jump in and shoot you guys questions. But
Let's
I
talk
claim my
about
ignorance too.
Swarm.
Swarm.
I don't
Moving
know.
back over to John. Me and nobody play Swarm.
No.
Did you guys play anything?
I spent a
Serious.
lot of time in the Fun Spot arcade area.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about that. Remind me to bring that up if you have anything interesting to say about it.
There's arcade machines.
Beautiful. Moving on. Okay.
The records for Friday.
Yeah, on June 1st.
Do you want to talk about your competition tournament tonight?
Oh yeah, Kyle.
What?
Mention
mean, we're talking about fighting games. So we might
talk
as well.
about how you did with Super Street Fighter 4 tournament today.
It was sort of not. It was indecisive. I kicked some ass. I got beat.
I heard you
No one
got
could-
destroyed in the first round.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh, that particular tournament? Oh yeah. And without a doubt, I got my ass handed to me.
We're not talking about like when we were playing.
Well, I thought it was about the hotel, but no. I kind of as a joke, I'm like, hey, maybe I'll join the Street Fighter 4 tournament. So I did.
That was a great idea.
It was a fantastic idea. So it was supposed to start at 2. I got in there at 2:30. Within 10 minutes, I was beaten.
Nice.
So it was I was the very first matchup. The guy, I do take some consolation in the fact, in a few things. One, the guy who beat me won the table, so he is among the top 16 players. 2, it was on the Xbox. And 3, well, I play on the PS3. And 3, it was on the default, regular, piece of crap 360 controller, using the D-pad.
All right. Well, it's not because it's on the Xbox that you had a hard time. It's because you brought a PS3 fight pad with you and you couldn't use it on the
Yeah.
Xbox version.
That's understandable.
So
Yeah.
shut up.
Yeah, I was going to say they're,
No,
they're pretty
it's
much the
because it's on
exact same
360.
thing.
Yeah.
It's on the 360. It's the same exact game, but I lost because it was on the 360.
It's
Because
like
you didn't have a
baby
365 pad.
Whatever.
So you had a good day.
No, I didn't. I'm super competitive, and whenever someone beats me, it just makes me angry.
Did you just rage quit and smash your
I
controller
didn't
against
rage
the
quit.
wall? And
I
run out?
didn't rage quit. I stayed until my table was completed, and then I just walked out.
And then you went back to your hotel and you slept for an hour and a half.
Yeah,
You cried yourself to
I
sleep.
cried myself to sleep, and then I
You're-
got drunk
you're-
because I can't handle the fact that I lost.
Your girlfriend fell asleep waiting on you. Are you putting your friends and family and loved ones in second place to your competitiveness?
Also, you
Yes.
could have been a little more considerate. You could have stayed in the round so she could sleep just a little bit longer than 10 minutes. But anyways,
Okay, let's move on.
let's move on to Swarm.
Wow, way to just make me feel like an asshole, guys. Thank you. I really
No problem.
appreciate
That's
that.
what we're here for.
I just feel really down and kind of like a low life.
Well, if you're gonna hang yourself, make
That's
sure you
why-
do it
I think I
outside the
might.
door.
I'll go in your shower right now and hang
No,
myself.
not in the shower, please. No. We need to bathe.
We still got 2 more days in this hotel.
Swarm.
Okay, Swarm. Anyone know anything about Swarm?
No.
It's a game.
Even though I
No.
know you guys didn't play it. Okay.
Does it involve bugs?
I don't know what you would call them.
They're swarmers.
John seems to be our resident Swarm expert.
Yeah.
It's Pikmin. It's not Pikmin.
I love Pikmin.
Honestly, when I walked up to it,
No,
it reminded me a lot of Pikmin. But
Yeah, a few weeks ago, I guess around Valentine's Day, we were sent something by Hothead, and they have a cute little video about the Swarmites and Valentine's Day, and then, which was funny. But yeah, no, it's the whole point of the game is kind of you control 50 little guys that are not lemmings, but they're reminiscent of lemmings.
they're sort of little blue. They're not blobs.
Marshmallow
They're
guys.
kind of They're kind of human shaped, but they just look like a little blob. But anyway,
Yeah, but the goal of the game is to kind of get from A to B, killing as many of them as possible without killing all of them, and getting all the special pickups and bonuses along the way.
So you have to kill as many things of the swarm as possible.
Yeah, it's
Well, I mean,
while
that-
still
you
retaining
get,
them.
it gives you multiplier bonuses, so and you get points for killing off your guys, and so probably 2 or 3 times per level, you have a little refill station. So you start with 50. And then there'll be a buzzsaw. You run 49 of them into the buzzsaw, get a bunch of points, and then one guy gets to the refill station, you're back at 50.
yeah. I mean,
So
when you
that's
described it, I mean,
not the game.
it's a little misleading because when you said it, it's like kill as many as you can. So immediately I go towards the buzzsaw and kill all of them but one, and then learn that
you need more of
to
them
advance,
to jump.
we need more to jump over to the next part. So
Yeah, so
I
it's-
basically screwed myself because I killed them all in the very beginning, based upon your recommendation.
So
Or,
the game is
basically
all
screwed
about
me over.
controlled genocide.
Acceptable
Yes.
losses. Yeah,
And honestly, it's fantastic.
the one thing that only enhanced the playing experience, I don't know if you guys saw the whole thing, there is a trailer that is being played at the Swarm booth, and unfortunately for our listeners, they won't be able to hear it, but or see it. There's the trailer at PAX is not rated by the ESRB and will not be rated by the ESRB, so therefore it cannot be played on TV or on the internet. So
Even the internet?
even on the internet.
That's
I'm sure there's some guy with a shaky cam out there somewhere.
Yeah.
But I don't think Hothead technically is allowed to host that by any means.
Well, explain it.
It's a little girl going nuts, killing swarmites, like in a very crazy way. Like, yeah.
She is obsessed with killing these little things. But
Yeah.
Is it like the Minecraft commercial where it's the white kid beating the crap out of a black guy?
I never saw that.
Oh,
But I'm glad you brought it up. I'm sure it can lead to just a great conversation.
He beats him up and takes the diamond out of his skull.
Is that the official trailer for Minecraft?
I think that's the official commercial.
Oh, fantastic. Is that rated by the
I don't know, but I think it's a hate crime, but I'm not too sure.
It honestly sounds like it. But no, Swarm seems like to be one of the games, one of the few games that actually gave me a good impression of the game, and one that'll probably stick with me and I'll probably end up picking up. But it is an Xbox arcade game, PS3. It wasn't PC, I don't believe. But yeah, like John said, basically you have to kill as many as you can to get points, but still keep enough alive to make it to the end of the level. And I really enjoyed it for what I played. I watched you guys play more of it than I actually played because I died and it was terrible. But Ben,
Is you
I
just
thought
say
you
my
could
name?
just take it over and I wouldn't even have to say
I'm
it.
just gonna, I mean, a lot of the same
And
stuff
what
you
do
just
you
said. I
think
really
about
did
Swarm?
enjoy it too. Honestly, it's of all the games I've played, it's the one I was most surprised at how much fun I had. I mean, I had fun playing other games too, but it was the one that like surprised me the most, I guess. And the humor in it is subtle but hysterical. I mean, there's a point where you got to like run your guys all by these holes, and they jump in them, and then something blows up because it's trying to suck in air. So like just that, like you're running by it, there's air sucking in, your little guys get sucked into it, and then they're like trying to get out and squirming
they're
around.
kind of like standing there and it goes.
Yeah.
And then they kind of get sucked in. And
That's a nice sound effect.
everything
Yeah,
blows
and then
up.
everything blows up. But I mean, like, there's funny things. When you run into a buzzsaw and all your guys die, that's pretty much hysterical. It's just a funny game with a cool
it
mechanic.
blows like blue.
And
like
it's
blood
a
everywhere
just
on your
we didn't
screen.
mention it. It's a side-scrolling platformer, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I would consider it. So
Yeah, I mean, I was
with some RPG
I was content
elements.
standing there watching you guys play it rather than actually playing it myself. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyone who's at PAX, if you're listening to this, anybody in the room, I highly recommend you go check out Swarm. So
Yeah, also them just real quick using so your little hive mind of 50 guys, they have abilities, and that's how you get through the level. That's what made it really fun. So for instance, your little path will get narrow, and so you have to make them all bunch together, or you have to hit 4 little buttons really fast and spread them out. So it was just, or you can stack them on top of each other to get to a high jump, and that kind of sprint, and it was just
it seemed
And
like
it
they kept introducing a lot of new mechanics to help you solve the puzzles and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah, it was
It didn't
definitely
seem
set
to
up
get
for
old.
the demo
Yeah.
alone. Yeah.
Do you think the game could be ruined pretty much through trial and error? It's like, okay, now I need 10 guys to go through here, or 5 guys to go through this particular place. Or is it, do you think you get through it with a lot of on-the-fly thinking?
yeah, I mean, it's you're never guaranteed to make it through, even if you know how to do it, because I mean, you could. Something explodes
Okay.
randomly, and then all you guys are dead, or you don't make the jump correctly, and
Okay.
half of your team dies.
and to get to the next level, you need a certain amount of points. So you
Well, so it's really a lot of skill and assessing risk.
right, yeah. So so you may need and that obviously it has leaderboards and stuff like
Okay.
that, like most XBLA games now.
Oh,
So
Jesus Christ.
so if you have Buddy A has 1,000 points, and you need however many points to get to the next level. It's just that type of thing. So
Very
It
cool.
sounds like a really fun game,
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
I'm going to hopefully go down there early and play
so,
it.
so far it has that Gamer Hub stamp of approval. So
I mean, you guys might as well play one game while you're here. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. That you can't really lose at.
Does anyone else have any games? I mean, now that's kind of everything that's on my list. There's Firefall, but we kind of already played that. Or John had already talked about it yesterday. I believe you talked about it yesterday, didn't you?
Yeah, he did.
I don't
And,
have a game particularly. Tonight, I actually went to a documentary It was actually really neat, and the main reason I'm throwing it out there is because it needs some support, honestly. It's called King of Chinatown, and it's about Justin Wong and his adventure through the Street Fighter. He's a national champion. He's a fantastic player. I have never been big into the fighting games. I have never followed the fighting news, anything like that. They're an interesting bunch of people. A very dramatic bunch of people. This was a really fascinating series, to be honest. Well, not series, documentary. Basically, this Justin Wong guy. I mean, I don't know how to describe it better, but he was pretty much in a cult in a sense, and it was really strange. Like they were seriously mining him to play Street Fighter and to win these championships, to support them in this strange cult sort of thing. Luckily, he got out of it. He is now with a completely different team. Geniuses, something like Evil Geniuses. There you go. Sorry for all the Street Fighter fans. But in any case, it's a really fascinating documentary. Again, it's called King of Chinatown. I saw the, final cut tonight. They have not released it onto DVD yet. The trailer is out there. It completely changed my view on really the whole, I want to follow the fighting people now. Like, they're a really interesting crew. And also, I guess the big controversial guy, he was also there talking. Triforce, and he is just as crazy in real life as he is on the documentary. So that was really fascinating. So yeah, like I said, just kind of throwing it out there. They need some support. I would love for them to get some support. Like, a lot of times I'm not really name dropping whatsoever, and I did really barely talk to them. But yeah, King of Chinatown. It was cool.
Well, guys in the chat, get on that right now. You can't
Josh
watch
and Kyle,
it,
did
apparently.
you see this before, or did you watch it tonight? Have you heard about it?
I have not.
No, I haven't heard of anything. I mean, the only mainstream, fighting game person I've ever heard of is Justin Wong, not the...
Well, Justin Wong, he used to live in New York, and I think he was part of Empire Arcadia.
Yes, that was the so aforementioned, cult.
Right, and it's basically like a whole group of players, and Justin was widely considered the best on the East Coast. Like, in a way, there's almost the East Coast, West Coast war with Street Fighter.
Right.
I'm not even kidding you, but there's two very different play styles in how each teams play. And,
care to elaborate the differences between East and West Coast style?
Okay, East Coast, a lot of people say, like, they turtle. In terms of turtle, it means you play very defensively until somebody screws up, and then you go on the offensive. West Coast play, they typically go all offensive.
So I have a West Coast style of play?
No, you have a retarded style of play.
Slam!
And so Justin Wong was considered one of the best in the East Coast, and a lot of people were saying on the West Coast that once Justin leaves, they're screwed and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. But in terms of what Justin needed to do for his career, if he wanted to make this something that he wanted to do for a living, he needed to go out west and earn sponsorships and actually try to do something with it.
Triforce, I guess the leader of, say the name one more time.
Empire Arcadia.
Empire Arcadia. Empire Arcadia is not what you imagine. It's a very, I don't think it was really revealed as to really what that group was until this documentary. They actually have an apartment that they live all together in New York, I suppose in Brooklyn.
Yep.
And like I said, it's a cult. It really truly is. Like they have to gain sponsorships in order to live in this apartment and go on all their traveling and everything. It's really it was strange.
And they train like 24/7. You know,
their electricity bill is $1,500 for 1 month.
That sounds a lot like StarCraft players in Korea.
Yes,
they are pretty much in a cult and boxed up in a hotel or not a hotel, but an apartment. Yeah.
If you want to see some other good documentaries on that type of stuff, there's one called I Got Next, which is also has Justin Wong in it, and no, that's something. Okay, that's a good video game documentary. But there's I Believe, which is based off of Mike Ross, who is one of the West Coast players. He's an Honda player, and then there's one coming out for Daigo Umehara, which is the Japanese world champion, coming out soon. So
very cool, very very cool. So yeah,
I have not heard any of these documentaries.
I am a nerd.
I knew nothing of the East Coast versus West Coast style of play. So this was actually kind of informative.
You're welcome.
Good job, guys. Well, speaking of documentaries, we're going to go ahead and do our Jinx contest right now, just to get it out of the way so we can move on to something else. So, once again, our third night in a row, Ben is going to throw out a tweet. All you have to do is retweet it, and you will be put in our drawing to win a $50 gift card to Jinx.com. And we will announce the winner tomorrow night. We're going to hold off and wait, announce yesterday's contest winner a little later on in the show. Ben, have you sent out the infamous tweet?
Sent.
So go to Twitter right now. If you don't have a Twitter.
Going to Twitter?
Make one right now. Hey, whatever, man.
I'm a dedicated listener, Kyle.
Exactly. He's in the chat religiously.
Isn't that
So
cheating?
if you want to win it, go ahead and put it in anyways. Is it thatgamerhub.com? Oh my gosh. Twitter.com/thatgamerhub, correct?
And that Gamercast.
Perfect. So go to either one of those, retweet. Also, you have to be following like Jinx on Facebook. Damn it, I almost forgot about that. So go do that right now, and we will reveal last night's winner later on tonight. I keep getting that mixed up, but do we have one more of those? Yeah, we'll have one more of those tomorrow night to give away another $50 gift certificate to Jinx. And hopefully, who won last night? Do you remember?
Sergeant Jellyfish.
Yeah, Sergeant Jellyfish. I shouldn't have said that. I had the answer in my head. Okay, so games. I mean, should we wrap up games? We can move on to panels next. But anyone have any other thoughts on games that they've played that they want to talk about? Fantastic. PAX is cool. PAX is fun. Actually, let's move on to this because John here went to a very special, I guess we can call it panel. Sort of pseudo panel. Go ahead and set everyone up with your date with Ken Levine.
It wasn't a date with Ken Levine. So I'm, as yesterday noted, a big Irrational Games nerd. I participate on their forums quite a bit, and so I received, and so did all the other forum people, and a bunch of people that via Twitter, and also I think you could win a ticket or raffle or something like that here at PAX. We kind of received an invite to go to MJ O'Connor's, which is a bar right next to PAX, and hang out with a few of the Irrational Games folks and play board games and talk about life and whatever. So, but it was most definitely a fun time, and it was obviously they didn't say.
When exactly is BioShock Infinite coming out?
2012. That's all we know.
You're supposed to press him on this.
Yeah,
stuff.
there was.
You're supposed to somehow sneak it out of him.
I've got to have a picture with me and Ken Levine, and I shook his hand a couple times, but everybody that everybody there was flocked around the main pillars of Irrational Games: Sean Robertson, Nate Wells, Ken Levine, all the other guys. But it was really cool. I got to talk to with a lot of the people that I see on their forums quite a bit, or see that I know work for the company. So it was really neat for like.
So you just got to talk to the team, basically.
Yeah, for a really big, Irrational Games nerd, it was most definitely worth it.
Any nuggets of information willing to share on the game that we haven't already heard? I guess
on the game, no. I mean, they didn't delve anything. They didn't divulge anything. I guess so. It was the one cool thing is they're people. They're not just. I mean, it was just really neat to be able to ask, hey, what do you when you're not making really really cool video games? What do you do? And it's just that kind of stuff.
Do you know what's really weird? And me and Ben have actually talked quite a bit about this throughout the show, and especially tonight. But it's weird, even try seeing like game journalists or developers or PR people with publishers and stuff just walking around through the hall with you, and like these people normally, if they're walking through Walmart, nobody's going to recognize them, but we kind of make these people into celebrities. And
if you walk up to
such
somebody
a big deal,
and say, hey, I met Ken Levine tonight, or hey, I met Ludwig Kitzman tonight, they're going to be like, who? But if you say that, if you go to the PAX and say that, everybody's going to be like, where are they at? Where are they at? Show me the way. Show me the way. I want to see them. was crazy. We were walking back from the convention center, and Brandon and I were talking about different things about the site, and I was just like, Brandon, do you know who's behind this? And he goes, no. And I'm like, look. And he goes, I don't want to look. And I ended up turning around. It was Chris Grant and the entire
joystick team.
Both McElroy brothers and Ludwig and everybody else. But like we just talked to him for a second and then just left him alone because
Well, we got to
they were
shake
tired. I'm
Chris
sure.
Grant's hand. So
Yeah, I'm sure they were tired.
That's...
But it was weird. Like we walked seriously probably 10 blocks with them.
Yeah.
The length of 10 blocks with them, and just like didn't talk to them anymore because we didn't want to bug them because they're just normal people. But it was weird because like we listen to their podcasts, we read their articles, kind of almost to the point of idolizing them, and then you're just walking along the street and there they are. It's just
that's the one great thing about PAX is that you can basically run into these people. They're not behind in the PR room. They're kind of all out on the show floor, and I've run into several. Tim Schafer, I've seen several times. Who else? Even going into PR, like we met the entire joystick team.
I'm sure
all
there's
of Bombcast, a bunch of IGN guys.
I'm sure there's a bunch of people who recognize us. And,
of
they
course,
just don't want to talk to us because they're intimidated.
Exactly. But getting close to the people that you've seen in videos or being interviewed on other major gaming blogs, and just being able to get up and talk to them about their game and why they do what they do and that kind of stuff. Did anybody else run into any kind of stuff like that throughout the show?
Yeah, definitely. I've been really impressed at just how the development teams have. They are interested in talking to their customers. They do want feedback. I had the executive producer from Turbine talking to me just throughout several games and things like that, and I was just like, this doesn't just happen every day, but yet at PAX it does happen every day. And same with Mortal Kombat. I was playing alongside with one of the developers, given that he was being extraordinarily nice to me and letting me be not so great. I will definitely say they want to get to know. Like I said, they ask me questions. What do you think? What would you want to see changed? And what do you want to see for the future? So they're definitely interested in knowing. Yeah,
honestly, pretty much every game that I've went up to, pretty much afterwards, they've asked me. Well, it could be just because I have a media pass, and they're
you guys
probably trying to gauge what I think. So,
you guys, if you said you haven't played many games yet, just go and walk up to a game like you're gonna play it and start playing, and you're gonna find like pretty much instantly, 10 times faster than they would walk up to somebody with a 3-day pass or something. They're gonna come up to you and start talking to you, which is good and bad because they should be devoting that much attention to everyone. Well, but it's kind of cool because they understand like these are the people who are gonna push stuff out to their.
Yeah, it's totally understandable.
Yeah, it's understandable, but they should be a little more responsive.
Not to knock the developers at all for what they do.
Well, that's actually how I saw the 3DS as I was walking by, and I just happened to stop. I was going to watch somebody else play it, and the lady saw me, and she just pulled one across the table and started showing it to me, which was actually pretty cool. And when I was playing Crysis 2, one of the NVIDIA guys just came over and started talking to me about it and telling me all about the NVIDIA 3D Vision and all this other stuff, going into these crazy details with me. Which...
I actually said last night, there were two instances I can think of where developers actually said to me. One said I was getting ready to leave, and he was like, "No, wait, I want to show you one more thing so you can talk about it on your show." And the other one was like, he specifically looked directly at my media badge and then said something to me and handed me a poster. Like it's just a different treatment almost.
Yeah, I think the media badge definitely gives you some preferential treatment.
Yeah, I would agree. Except for skipping lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah. Oh, whatever.
Maybe it's because I'm a girl, but I have skipped lines all day and yesterday.
Yeah, it's probably because you're a female.
Great.
Yeah. You're a female who's not dressed. You're not dressed like a freak, so.
God, Mortal Kombat has had a 2-hour wait line each day, and I've been I have made friends with the PR person, or it was actually another girl. It was so funny yesterday. She was watching me play, and like I said, it was my first time playing since Sega. And today I saw her again, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I remember you from yesterday. You were legit." I was like, "Oh God."
Yeah, you're the one girl here.
I was like, I guess I'm okay.
Yeah, I can say I haven't. Nobody has jumped out to get me to pull me into the front of the line before, except for last night's party, which was that was really cool. But anyways, that was just kind of an aside, and we kind of got off on a tangent. But anyone go to some awesome panels tonight? We went to 3 panels, but anyone else
Yeah.
want to get it out of the way first?
We went to Deus Ex, and
Yeah, that's right.
How was it?
Oh my gosh, I have never played any of the series, and I was impressed. I am curious. It was a live demo. It was a live demo.
How
So
did it look?
it looks good.
Yes,
It
I'm going to
looks
just keep
gorgeous.
interrupting you.
I
with
can't tell when you're
questions
being
before you tell me.
sarcastic
Yeah,
and when
you
you're
No, I'm
actually
being
truthful.
absolutely serious.
I'm
It
gonna
is
be-
a
Deus
gorgeous
Ex.
game.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Oh,
Yeah.
most definitely. It floats in between first and third person pretty seamlessly.
Okay.
Yeah, I
But
didn't even
it-
notice it until you mentioned something like later on during the day. I was like, oh yeah, I was doing that, wasn't it? It was very seamless. Like I was impressed.
Yeah, and it's I played the original Deus Ex, and I played a very little bit of the second one. The second one wasn't the game. I'm trying to think what it's close to it. The closest to it I can think of in modern, like in the recent time, is Mass Effect, in the sense of you can make your guy super hardcore soldier,
Yeah.
and he can never get hurt, but all he uses is the same assault
Yeah.
rifle over and over and over. Or you can make him super stealthy and just sneak behind stuff. Now in Mass Effect, it just doesn't have that.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have the other, and so
Well, I mean,
And
it sort of does, but
right.
not really.
and
One of the things I really loved about it, one of the things he mentioned is that there is always at least 2 ways to get around an obstacle. Like he showed us there was I lost the word. I want to say turbine because now I'm stuck on that word. Turret. There we go. There was a turret, and either you could go hack into a computer system and disable it, but if you did not have the hacking skill up,
You could
instead
blow it
you
up.
could not just blow it up. You could move around all the boxes around and find a vent to go through, to go around it, go behind it, kill it from behind, or just do whatever you want to.
Okay.
So if it gives you options. If you chose not to level up hacking, then of course you couldn't do that hacking. So there's always more than 2 ways, usually 3 ways to go around it. So that was a really cool feature. I thought you would have to get very creative in some instances. I liked it. I was impressed.
It sounds like a return to form to the first one as opposed to the second one.
Yeah, there's a lot of booze on whenever they were talking about the second one, and
yeah.
they did say they were trying to go back to what fans liked with the first one.
Yeah, the first one, like what Deus Ex, the first one was so famous for was being insanely hardcore.
Yeah.
Like if you got shot in the arm, you couldn't use, like your accuracy went down. Like that's what that was mentioned, like
Yeah.
as a during the Q&A, and they didn't do that. They didn't do that. They kind of just have, like most games now, if you get shot anywhere, a little bit of your health went down.
Yeah.
So and they talked about it and everything. But it most definitely, what's the correct word? It gives a proper homage to the first game, which is what the fans want, most definitely. So
It is apparently a lot more linear than the first game. I can't say for sure because I didn't play the first game. Although you will, that's one of the Q&As I especially remember. It isn't, I guess the first game was relatively open world. Not super open world, but it wasn't didn't have to be so linear. This one is a lot more linear. You'll kind of apparently go back to places you have been before, but it's still part of the storyline. Like you're going back to that place for a purpose. It's not just to do something random. So there is that. That was one of the bigger questions that I noticed. That was a good question.
yeah, and JJB, the art director, is crazy artist guy. Like, so if you want to follow someone interesting on Twitter, as I follow everyone on Twitter, everyone,
As we have found
I follow,
out.
yeah, I follow 6 billion people on Earth on Twitter. I know what's going on. No, but he's all the guys. I mean, they're a bunch of French Canadian dudes that can really make a really good video game. Like, they all had heavy, thick accents. It's good stuff. So, yeah, Deus Ex, August 23rd, by the way, is the official date for that. So,
What day?
August 23rd of this coming year.
Okay. I knew they bumped it back, but I didn't know to when.
Yeah, I believe it was supposed to come out first quarter of 2011.
Yeah, you're right.
So.
Well, you were right.
Yeah.
So you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, it
Definitely.
was fantastic. Definitely worth it.
What was your
Look at it.
favorite thing about it?
Oh gosh,
That-
I think my favorite thing about it was actually a bug where it was just because it was really funny. But there was a point you were hiding behind a cabinet and the security guard comes kind of looking. He's like, "Oh, I heard somebody," and he comes up and he seriously looks straight at you, doesn't notice you whatsoever, and then walks away. It was just, I mean, it was just really funny. No, that was truly my favorite thing. I liked all the different options of how you could play. I really did. Like a lot of games, you get to choose what type of, I'm going to be an archer. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be melee. I'm talking RPG now, but in any case.
That's pretty much what it is.
Right, yeah. So you get to choose stealth, or I want to be, more this, or the more that, and you get to develop the trees, along the way. I like the different options that you can play how you like to play.
Yeah, most definitely the way, I guess, the number one thing for me, there's kind of, I guess, overall it looks amazing. Like, it's just the way I guess they described it as a cyberpunk renaissance, and the best way what that means is by looking at it, because it's supposed to be the future. It's supposed to be 2027, and there's supposed to be a technological innovation age, which is really cool. So you see guys that have metal arms, and people going in and out of invisibility, a cloak or whatever, and people have eyes, cybernetic eyes and stuff like that. And the way it's so that all looks cool. But I mean, even just smaller stuff. So there's a time, kind of at the same point that Rachel just mentioned, where you sneak up behind a guy and choke him out, and he's not dead. He's just knocked unconscious. But if another one of his bad guy buddies comes along and sees him, they'll wake him up. So the player, which was actually the game director, dragged his body behind a crate to hide him, but it was all in first person. So you see the guy and his arms being dragged, and it kind of, it's just a rag doll on the ground. But it was, I don't know, it's just, I'm used to the Metal Gear Solid way, where you throw him over your shoulder and take a couple of drudging steps, or same thing like in Assassin's Creed where you do it. So it was really neat to see that, just done from a different perspective.
So, have any of you played the first or second one? I know you haven't.
No, I have not.
Yeah, I played the first one and just a little bit of the second. I got disinterested with the second one.
Yeah, I mean, most people did. Does it follow the same continuity of the second one, the first one, or does it kind of reinvent itself from what you know of what they?
I guess
they
in
told you?
terms of the storyline, I mean, the character is not related. The first,
that's what I figured.
Yeah, I mean, you have Adam Jensen instead of the first guy's name was Denton.
Yeah,
it sounds
Denton.
similar, but it's whether that has something to do with anything or not. There's people were asking all these questions at Q&A, like, and sometimes because the game is still.
Is he really the brother of Alfred?
Yeah, so it's the game's still, what are we in 3? So we're still 6 months away from the game being released. Or 5 months away. I'm sorry. So they're not. They played their cards pretty close to their chest. But
I mean, I was just asking just in case they let something go.
No, I mean, it was just, I'm trying to think of anything major, but
pretty much what I'm asking is, are they considering the second game actual canon to the universe, or are they just kind of wiping it from the face of the universe?
The game is a prequel. So,
okay.
Yeah, so
It takes place in 2027, I remember, because that kind of bugged me, because I was like, there's no way we're going to have this in 2027. It's like, this is dumb.
Yeah, so I guess and that kind of came up, because it does look like Star Wars. I mean, it's not that bad now, but it looks like, dude, no way we're getting this in 16 years.
Yeah, it was just like, this is strange that you would pick this year.
But the way, so what they try to do is make it, and I think they did it all right, is make a bridge between because Deus Ex 1 was so hardcore in the future, everything, robots and this and that and the other, and so they just try to tie that bridge.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
All right, so you guys liked it. Perfect. Sorry, I got 20 different things going on over here. So, I mean, any other panels for anyone else stick out? we went to 3 panels, me and Ben at least.
Yes.
We went to the Joystick Breakfast. Not too much to say there. It was kind of a casual, laid-back thing.
I will say one thing.
What's that?
They had amazing cereal for us for free.
I know.
ask,
I know.
was
I
the
wanted to
breakfast
talk
any
about
good?
this.
What?
Go ahead.
I was about to ask.
They
was
had
the breakfast
blueberry
Muffin Tops.
muffin tops
Jeez, man,
cereal.
right.
Muffin Tops.
And the
Classic.
reason they got it is because apparently Justin loves it and talks about it on the show sometimes. And so he got in contact with them and said, "Hey, I'd love to give out your stuff." So they sent him boxes of it. And it was delightful. And then also, they gave out free games. They gave out free stuff.
They gave out a lot of free
They
stuff.
gave out a lot of free stuff. Mostly to people who were there first, so they got first pick. The people who were there at their earlier panel. And then they said, everybody else come up here and get some. So Ludwig actually, I know Brandon doesn't believe me, but Ludwig gave me Civilization 5, the special
'cause
edition.
He didn't.
He did. He didn't
Okay.
hand it to me, but he said, "Here, there's Civ 5." And then you got what? You got Mafia 2?
I got Mafia 2 for the PlayStation.
So, yeah, we made out with a couple cool games, but I don't know if Mafia 2 is a cool
honestly,
game.
it seemed like their panel to get rid of their stuff.
I don't know where they got all that stuff, dude. Must have just been all
Their
donations?
joystick.
or-
I'm sure
Yeah,
they
I'm
get
sure,
so
yeah.
much stuff.
Probably
It's
got
ridiculous.
the review copies.
Yeah.
I'm sure it wasn't. I don't know.
There was a lot of unopened stuff. Mine was open, so
Oh, it was?
yeah.
Mine
I can
was
say
nice.
I got Mafia 2 from a famous person.
There you go.
But the reason I wanted to bring this up was because Ben, we got a picture with who, Ben?
Justin McElroy.
What's the matter?
Pretty much my idol.
Here, I'll throw the picture up in the. I
It's
love
a
the
fun
picture first off.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it open on my phone so you guys can see it too, but
Hang on, I can turn my computer so they can see it. No, I'll just pull it up on my phone.
why would you want to do that?
Well, if you turn
I don't
the
know.
computer, it ruins the mystery of what you guys have going on behind.
Yeah, you don't want to see it over here.
Actually-
It's a mess.
Yeah, we can't even see the chat. I don't know if they're talking trash or what.
They said
it's
something
just-
about.
That's
Probably
not
saying
weird.
You sound like a
Trash
queer,
guy
I don't
sucks
know.
balls.
Yeah, Josh doesn't say anything.
Here we
He
go.
sucks.
Here's a picture.
It's actually a pretty fantastic picture in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's intense.
I have to admit, I was not expecting John McElroy to look like that.
Justin.
Sorry, I'm
McElroy.
so sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry, John, if you're listening to this. Yeah, apparently he's a lot shorter than we are, and I love the picture because it looks like he has absolutely no neck.
Yeah,
And
it's intense.
he's struggling to keep up with us, but great guys over at Joystick.
Yeah, we love them.
We love them.
Brandon actually introduced me to them through the podcast, and then he introduced me to the McElroy brothers offshoot, and now I'm obsessed with him, and he makes fun of me for it.
I'm just gonna
and
read
it's
it.
his fault.
You're welcome, Ben.
Thank you.
Honestly, what was the one question we got in here by Gamers Garage? Anyone check out the XBL enforcement panel?
No, I did
No.
not.
No.
Okay,
Mm.
sorry,
Yeah.
Gamers Garage.
Did anybody play Vulcan? Is that?
He says, "Did you see the XBL enforcement panel? And did Vulcan, in quotes, look like anything we can expect from Skynet in the future?"
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Vulcan?
Does anyone know what Vulcan is?
No, I don't.
Gamers Garage, feel free to expand in the chat and let us know. Vulcan.
Oh,
Go ahead, Ben. This
Vulcan
you're
is
just
the
gonna-
system they use to ban people.
From
No idea.
From
Is the system?
XBLA or Xbox Live.
Okay. I guess that's
That-
why I
that
have
would
no
make
idea what he's
sense.
talking about. 'cause
Is
I
that
did
like
not
a
go to
new
the panel.
system or?
He said they actually showed it. I think that was a panel.
So they show
Yeah, it's
the
the enforcement
system
panel.
that they
Yeah.
use to ban people with.
Is it-
Yes, that seems
doesn't
like a
seem
bad
like a
idea.
good idea
Seems like
to
people
me.
could
Yeah, but
could hack
it's self-aware, so it changes. Like anytime somebody come up with something new, it just adjusts and goes and bans people all over the place.
Does anyone actually ban people
Well,
on
that's
a regular
terrifying.
basis?
it. Anybody ban people?
It doesn't actually ban people. It just shoots a missile at them till they're dead, and then they can't come back on Xbox Live. So
I think that you made that up.
Oh.
I report
it's Microsoft,
people.
all right.
Yeah, yeah.
Microsoft.
If somebody is screwing around
Well, at least
and
you know
or
it's gonna
sending
be a
out
cheap
spam
missile.
messages, I will report them. Especially spam messages, because I hate that. But
I normally don't get much spam.
I don't either. But I'm like the 3 or 4 times I have. And then there's one guy who really made me mad the one time, so I just hit inappropriate contact, and it ended up he only had like 1 star as far as So I was like, okay, well, it's obviously
There was. We went to a panel about community, and there was some guy who said that he was having a major issue in the last 2 weeks where people were sending him spam about trying to level up in Call of Duty or something, and it was gonna be some big epidemic or something through everyone's Xbox Live.
Yeah, I've never had that happen.
He's like, I don't know. I haven't heard about
I've
it.
had ones trying to get me to buy stuff.
I mean, I've got them before, but this guy's getting like 5 a day or something.
I think he made it up.
He could very well could.
Or he could just be that type of person that just plays so much that his name is constantly going through people. It's like,
Yeah.
the more I play, the more spam I get. So
I was about to say, I've never gotten spam. I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
That panel was called Community, Some Assembly Required, and Batteries Definitely Not Included.
Yes.
Okay.
It was with...
By DMZilla.
Yeah.
The community manager for Xbox Live. And then we wrapped up the night, basically. Well, me and Ben wrapped up the night with the Twisted Pixel Variety Hour.
yeah, that was fun.
That was very fun. Those guys are cool.
Yeah,
They are
they're
cool.
funny.
They're very cool.
A lot of funny videos, a lot of funny stuff, a lot of funny pictures.
I love that picture.
Stories, lots of free giveaways that none of us got.
I wonder if there's if we can find that video of that guy's face. Apparently, one of them has a friend that just has an amazing face.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just- I mean, he just can make the best facial expressions I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
They're weird looking.
Yeah, basically in Gunstringer, like they'd said, or like they said during the panel, I guess if you weren't there, you wouldn't know. But of course, Twisted Pixel is big for their FMVs, and they're trying to incorporate them in new and different ways in Gunstringer by incorporating, I guess. I mean, what were they saying? Like you're basically playing Gunstringer on a stage with an audience.
The premise of
watching it,
Gunstringer is it's a marionette game, and you start out the game by walking in a live action thing and sitting down in the theater, and these curtains open.
Yeah.
There you go.
And then constantly it cuts back to the audience clapping or booing or being shocked about stuff. So there's... I keep thinking of the Chinese guys high-fiving himself in the crowd. Completely ridiculous things that I'm sure if we were there
We would have done
filming
the same
it would have been awesome to watch. But I'm sure a lot of that stuff will be in the bonus parts of Gunstringer, hopefully. Or just available on YouTube. I could go with that.
I can't stop laughing now about that guy.
They talked a little bit about Miss
He was
Explosion
so
Man
excited.
and the older games they've made too, which was nice.
Great in-depth coverage.
Transvestite.
Miss Explosion Man,
Yeah.
transvestite?
Yeah. Well,
I don't think so.
is she?
It makes sense though,
I
because
mean-
she's Mrs. Man, essentially. Never caught that before.
I mean, is she married to Explosion?
Yeah,
Well, she's married to
it's
Explosion
Miss-
Man. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Miss-
Then clearly.
Yeah.
Well, then shouldn't it be MRS instead of MS?
It's politically correct. Who knows?
Okay.
It's MS, so that's anything.
That always confused
That means
me.
female.
Yeah,
Means
MS
female.
dot means anything. If you're unsure of what a female is, then MS
Ms.
Well,
is.
It's Ms., not Miss. There's a
this is
difference.
always going back to I
Mhm.
think 2nd or 3rd grade, where I had a teacher who would freak the hell out on you if you called her Ms. or Miss.
Maybe you should have punched her
And
in the
ever
face.
since then, you have been...
Yeah, I've been
completely-
doubting myself. I don't know what to call adult women.
Call them
formally.
ma'am.
Well, it's just kind of what I default to, or you.
Yeah, that's
I'm
not a
fan of
good
that
idea.
one.
Was there anything else about the Twisted Pixel?
It was cool. It was funny.
It was funny.
Those guys are great. And that was about it.
And I will. I
They
want to
didn't
go back and buy all their games I don't have right now.
They honestly didn't really
Really?
announce much. They showed a lot of stuff off, but
Yeah.
if you weren't there, we
Talking
can't really
about
do
it,
it
yeah.
justice. So I'm not even going to try. Other than
Agreed.
the Chinese guy giving himself a high five in the crowd. That was pretty
He
awesome.
did it so great. At first, I had no idea what was going on, but once they explained it, I was like, he is giving himself a high five. It was a very good high five.
Yeah.
That is going back. Actually, we talked about this before. The back to the community panel. DMZ Zilla, who is the community manager, talked about he was trying to team up, or he's talking to the guy who created the MyGamerCard,
MyGamerCard.net.
And he was talking to them, or him, I guess, about trying to get Microsoft to back them up, and maybe bring the service back online or kind of shift, what he's been doing over to Microsoft so he could keep the My Gamer Card stuff going for
Yes, his name is Morgan.
into the future. I just thought that was interesting because I hadn't heard that before. I think that was probably one of the first times that it's come out. So
That I know of.
hot tip on that Gamer Pod. I mean, anyone else have any interesting panel tales? Or just anything at this point. I mean, we're getting to the end of the show, so anything anyone wants to throw out.
No, every panel that I wanted to go see is like really early in the morning, so I never got to. Like I wanted to go to all the chiptune ones that they've been having, and like the OC remix stuff like that. Because I'm a big fan of chiptunes and video game music in general, but I can just never get to them.
Yeah.
And if you don't get there early, the lines have all been filled. There's so many people trying to get everything.
The general rule I think we've been using is show up an hour ahead, and you'll still be 200th in line. I mean, that's not front row seat. You're still middle of the pack at an hour ahead. So,
yeah, that is the one downside of PAX. For how awesome PAX is, the lines are.
Well, last year PAX East, it was quite different. I mean, the buildings was obviously so much smaller, and the panel rooms that they had then were basically like a little chunk of what you have now. And at one point there was lines going like from the panel door downstairs into like the main foyer. And you could only fit like 500 people in there.
Yeah. It seems like there's a ton of enforcers and stuff, and they're doing a pretty good job at keeping everyone out of the way and everything moving. So, I mean, it seems like controlled chaos, but they're definitely doing a good job. But
I think what's great about those lines, though, I mean, one thing I've always loved about the gamer community is just how open we are, like, with each other, Like, I've made so many friends today where I'm just, like, standing in line and I don't have anybody else to talk to, and I just start talking. Yeah, and it's great.
Yeah.
You're at a video game convention, and you're
girl.
female, and you don't have anybody to talk to? Get real.
I'm not, like, hanging out with anybody at that particular point. My team all went home early today. But yeah, the only reason I even went to that demo to begin with, they were giving away free T-shirts. I had no idea what the line was for or anything because it was halfway around the building.
Oh man, free anything!
Yeah,
I'm there.
I know, and I was just kind of like, "What? I want a free T-shirt." He's like, "Oh, you have to be in line," and I was like, "All right." So I got in line, got a free T-shirt.
You aren't there because you haven't got anything free yet.
But sir, did you know that I'm a girl? Here, have this shirt. Also, here's Mortal Kombat. Come play with us.
For a
And
fourth
Fear,
time.
I did get to play
respect
Fear
you.
3 also, and that was front of the line also. That was fantastic.
Jeez.
I
think next year I'm
waited in
gonna
line.
come as a girl instead.
I really don't think I waited in line for anything today.
You might have to shave the beard for that one.
My beard. Well,
I don't know, guys.
I've
I've seen plenty of people dressed up as girls with full beards, and
That's true.
Honestly, I don't think it helped them at all.
I
So.
think I could pull it off.
Next year's media badge, Benina.
Benina. Yeah, I think you have to show my ID, so that won't work probably.
Well, Ben, it doesn't matter. They completely butchered my name, and
Hey, Brendan,
I've been-
knock it off.
I think you're still saying it wrong. I need the
Brendan.
I need the
Brendan.
pass, but anyways. Last minute, throw out whatever you want, or we're moving on.
What was the craziest costume you've seen so far?
The man in the totally lost her name. One of the yes, and the man in the Chun-Li costume.
Oh, Chun-Li is a woman.
What?
Just for reference.
I'm serious.
Anyone who doesn't know.
I'm serious. Yes.
Was the man in shape, or was he?
The man
more
was a
obese?
man. The man was definitely
The man
a man.
was a man, but he did
wasn't
have the
a
physique
feminine
for it.
man. Yeah, you know how a lot of like feminine men kind of, not get away from it, but it makes more sense. No, this was a 6 foot. No, not at all.
Well, that's what I was
The
asking.
craziest one I saw was a big daddy and a little sister together.
Yeah.
And it was a good costume. Like some costumes you see are like,
Cardboard.
It was a good costume.
People stepped it up today in cosplay. I mean,
I saw Chewbacca, a full-on Chewbacca.
I did see a full Darth Vader.
it's not really
too.
surprising at all.
I saw a really good Altair.
Altair? Yeah, I did too. I saw a really bad Altair. As
Yeah,
well.
I think I saw the same one.
Beautiful.
Maybe it was the same guy. He just stripped down halfway through.
Yeah.
He was tired.
Hey,
A little hot.
what was the craziest thing that you did at all at PAX?
You did it all.
Yeah. What did you do?
I don't know. I saw you. That's pretty crazy.
That's
All right,
kind of
move
mean.
on.
That's kind of mean.
And that went nowhere. All right, guys.
I failed. I'm sorry.
Ben,
Yes, sir.
do you have Twitter ready to give away yesterday's prize?
Last night's, sure. Let me see.
I guess technically, if you've retweeted it since, you can still win. But
Absolutely.
absolutely.
It looks like we have some entries here,
Go ahead and pick someone.
and randomly selected, I Am Radio X.
He was not in the chat. I'm very disappointed. He was in here earlier, but
I
congratulations.
think he had to go to bed, and since it turned 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock at the same time,
Oh, yuck.
Well, clearly he's weak, so the prize should go to someone else.
that was from last night's, which
Oh,
you did not enter. But hey, you know it's from tonight's. So we're giving away to I Am Radio X a $50 Jinx gift certificate.
Congratulations. And people in the chat, if you just joined us, all you have to do is go to, twitter.com/thatgamerhub, retweet our message about the $50 Jinx card, and you can win tomorrow's prize. And we'll be giving away another $50 on Sunday, or Monday, technically.
I don't know when it'll be. Today is Sunday.
We're still giving away $100 in stuff, so join us the next 2 nights, as we will be broadcasting.
Not the next 2 nights. Just the next night. One more night.
Tomorrow's the last night. My gosh, this PAX is a blur to me, honestly. Last comments, PAX. What do you guys think before we get out of here?
Amazing. Loved it.
Amazing.
It's awesome. A lot better than last year.
Awesome, amazing, better
It's
than last
fun
year.
for my first time being at PAX.
Likewise, first time at PAX, and it's a blast.
I think this is everyone but Josh's first time at PAX.
Yeah, you
Oh,
blessed.
you're a veteran.
You can't be
Yeah.
all as great as you can be.
But yeah, I agree with everybody.
It's an hour drive for me, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
And it's better than last year's.
by far, yeah. I mean,
Last year's was a totally different convention center, everything, wasn't it?
yeah, it was over at the Heinz, and yeah.
cool.
I mean, this convention center here is, I think somebody was telling me that it is about the size of PAX Prime.
Nice.
Close.
That's kind of
It's,
surprising, actually. Yeah.
it's pretty close, but what I told everybody after last year's was like, consider this like a test. This is them like testing the market out to see if anybody was willing to go to it.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with last year was there was so many games that were already out at that point. Like there was a ton of Dante's Inferno's posters and advertisements. And
Yeah.
that game was already out for like 2-3 months at that point.
I'm sure it was mainly,
It was a
developers and
test drive.
publishers weren't willing to.
They were testing the market.
Yeah,
Basically.
they didn't know what to expect, and
There was a lot of indie games and stuff like that, and XBLA, PSN, like Hydrophobia and stuff.
I don't
like
think
that.
a lot of developers and stuff took it seriously because
No.
it was a satellite of PAX. You know, it wasn't a PAX. So
and
Yeah.
really everything, not everything, but a ton of new stuff this year, and all AAA stuff. So
we may have some special guests tomorrow night.
we may have some special guests.
But thank you very much to our special guests for tonight. Our friends.
What special guests are you having tomorrow?
We can't say because if we don't have them, then people are going to be disappointed.
exactly.
Well, are they
but
gonna
we
be
may
better than
have them.
us?
What?
Are they going to be better than us?
No.
Of course not.
I think everybody's gonna be better than you.
What?
I said, are you just saying that? I don't know if you know this,
Moving
but I'm
on.
super competitive.
Yeah, I know. I think I heard that before.
And he's drunk.
Yeah, he's
Well,
drunk.
not
yeah.
so much now. I've sobered up.
So you
But-
won't remember this at all.
That's why he's been quieter lately. But yeah, we may have some special guests. We'll be giving away more Jinx cards. But thank you guys, Rachel and Josh and Kyle. We appreciate it.
Yeah, go ahead and plug your stuff.
Okay. Once again, thanks for having us. I'm Rachel from PixelatedGeek.com. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I am Rachel Lee, LEE321. Pretty simple. Yeah.
All right, y'all. This is Josh and Kyle from Critical Strike. Yeah, I'm Nacero on Twitter.
I'm at KR Dumond on Twitter.
Sweet. And I
John's
think
asleep.
Brandon and I will be both following. I follow them now. Brandon will be probably by the end of
I
it.
just let you in.
Very nice.
If I ever get back on Twitter, I'll do that.
How could you not be on Twitter? Don't you want to...
I am so busy with the Hub Twitter and the Cast Twitter.
Also,
that I
he's
don't
a
have
girl.
time for my own. so.
It's just mesmerizing watching you bounce back and forth on your rocking chair.
Do you enjoy it? Because Ben hates it. It
It
drives
is-
me crazy.
I don't hate it. Only when we were on camera, I hated it.
It's driving me crazy. It's been driving me crazy the whole
Well,
time.
why didn't you tell me?
'Cause,
If that has been distracting. you.
Unlike my co-host, I don't just blurt things out.
All right, well,
Well, someone has to.
And John.
John, feel free to promote yourself.
Yeah, bad_gamer at Twitter. Yeah, and that's everything else on there is my stupid little
And
lower-end blogs on there.
what are you exactly, John?
I'm a writer. I've heard that gamer. There you go.
Exactly.
Sorry.
According to that sign on the mirror.
He's also the future husband of Ken Levine.
Yep.
There we go.
Breaking news.
Oh, he came out finally?
It's out.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming in the chat. People in the chat room tonight. Thank you to all of our guests. Everyone
Thanks for
who's
having
listening
us.
to this after the fact. The people who created PAX. The people who brought games to PAX.
Justin McElroy.
Justin McElroy specifically. Thank you, everyone. This has been That Gamer Podcast. Reporting live from PAX Day 2. Join us again tomorrow for the third and final day. Goodbye, guys.
Bye.